Here's a video I didn't think I was going to be making yesterday, but let's do this. Let's do a talk about the sets that were revealed at LegoCon. Not all of them, just some of them. Yeah, let's do this. So, Craig's here, Brickstage Pass. Yeah, I usually do talk about series when I've actually got a set, what I'm going to do with it. I don't really review sets. I just sort of get them and do them and then tell you in other ways whether I'm going to buy a set or pass on a set. Hence the Brickstage Pass. But yes, I thought I'd do this because there's been a lot of talk about the LegoCon sets, and I felt that I needed to do my own little thoughts and impressions of the sets, especially as there's been quite a lot of negative stuff that I'm not too sure on, not too sure where that's coming from. So yeah, I thought I would do this. Have a look at some sets. Obviously haven't got them. Just look at the images of them, talk through them, and yeah, put my thoughts down whether I'm going to buy them or pass on them. Just put some perspective. I'm not going to talk about all the sets that were on LegoCon, just the ones that the sort of main ones. Otherwise, we'll be here all night. So yeah, just sort of bigger ones. I did buy about 7 or 8 sets this year to give you an idea on how many sets that I have passed on this year. One of them was the Boutique, one of them was the Countach, and I think Optimus Prime is coming, but it's a present, so I didn't buy it. So as you can imagine, I pass on a lot of sets, buy a lot of parts. I like to do my own stuff and build stuff. But I am a huge Classic Space fan, Doctor Strange fan, Star Wars fan, Castle fan. So I'm hoping that I'm not really an expert on any of them, but Castle would be where I've probably spent, other than Batman, doing a lot of mocking. And yeah, had my first proper Lego set was 6080, the Castle, classic grey opening up Castle. So I've been waiting for this set. One of my first ever toys, physical toys that wasn't Lego, was Optimus Prime. So having that combination again was something proper nostalgia hitting me this year. And I recently got the gift with purchased Forestman's Hideout, which again, nostalgia, fantastic little set. So yeah, let's do this. Let's talk about some of these sets and my thoughts and impressions and my opinions based on these. As I said, I'm not a Classic Space, but I'm going to have a look at the Explorer first. So yeah, I'm not Classic Space expert, but I am a fan. I did have a bit of it very early on. I did tend to go more down castles, but I did like to mix it up occasionally and play with my Lego spaceships and build my own space bases on the raised moon plates. And yeah, so this was revealed. It's part of the 90th anniversary of play, which is not 90 years of actual Lego bricks. It's 90 years of the company making toys, as I understand it. So therefore, they're doing a bit of an anniversary, but it's not. There's not been 90 years of development that's gone into this, and it's not been 90 years in the making, because I think the original was the late 70s. So you do the math. But first impressions of the Galaxy Explorer coming on the 1st of August is, what have Lego done? This is pretty up there as one of the best Lego sets that I've seen for a long time, based on a non-theme, their own theme if you want. $89.99. 1,246 pieces. I don't get the 18 plus thing, but we'll skip that for now. I'll talk about that on the castle. And yeah, I think they've knocked this out of the park. They're 4 minifigures. It's a lot of pieces. A lot of people complain about the price. I think the price is very reasonable. Could have been a lot more with the price hike. The way things are going with inflation and costs and all the rest of it. And we're not going to get into a discussion about price, but I still think this could have been more for the size, the figures, and the part count. And I like to go on part count. I know a lot of people diss the part count, the old 10 cents per piece type rule and whatever that was in UK money. But you've got to have some frame of reference to judge stuff by what you buy. You've got to look at it and either think, is it worth $89.99 in itself, or are you going to use other gauges, other sets around it at the same time, and look at the piece count, look at the minifigs included, because I think they're the two best judges of a set. Yes, you might get some small parts, but that they usually do compensate for that. So I think that if this was 900 pieces, it would be around a similar sort of price point as more licensed themes, which we know are slightly more expensive. So to get this many pieces, this many figures in a set that's less than £100, yeah, I think this is a really good deal. Box art, absolutely love it. I know criticism has been there's not enough minifigures. Some people have said that I've seen. I don't agree. I think 4 is perfect. 4 fit in it. There's plenty of room in there. Yeah, 4's spot on. There's the 90 years of play. There's the 18 years and up. The classic space type box art with the yellow label that used to say Legoland, and they've got the space system underneath it as a bit of a nod. I don't think it means anything more than that, but it's interesting that they've gone with that design choice. Some people criticizing there's no raised base plate. I don't think they can do the raised base plate anymore. I'm not sure they've got the ability or cost effectiveness to be able to do those. I think if you really wanted to, you're probably better off building your own landscaped version of those, or you can probably pick them up, to be fair, reasonably cheap if you really want one to land on. But I think as a play set, as a display piece, it's pretty much spot on with how it looks and what comes in the box. Basically, the canopies are nice. I love this brick built arrow in here rather than it being a sticker or a print. That's really, really clever. The buckets used on either side of this snot brick, I would assume, so that it looks like the classic speaker part that they use for the thrusters, only this is a bit more in scale with everything else. The engines, I've seen a lot of snot builded wings versions of this, that some people, there's fantastic mocks out there of reimagining of this set, and I can see why Lego haven't done that. It probably wouldn't go through their standards that they've set. Like it or loathe it, that is part of the Lego product that we all love, that they have these intricate little rules within about what they can and can't do, and the designers make compromises, and I think this is a really good yes, the stud's showing, yes, but there's a lot of smoothness there as well, which I think is really good. And I'm a bit of an old schooler, really. I like if that's the right word for it, but I do like studs showing. I don't like them fully covered. I like to know it's still Lego. I don't like the fully polished look personally. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with this. No alternate builds, but I hear you can build two smaller versions, a medium and a small one, with some instructions online, so you don't have to buy another 2 of these sets. You can, but you'd have some leftover pieces, obviously. But you could also just buy the pieces for those instructions. Easily doable. I love this, being able to fly the boosters. Yeah, it just really, really good set. Really pleased with this set. Definitely will be getting it. Will be forking out my hard-earned money for this. And well done, Lego. Not a pass for Craigster. So that's the first set. So the next set that I think I will look at is the Sanctum Sanctorium. I wasn't really excited about this set, even though I'm a huge Doctor Strange fan, and I read comics of Doctor Strange even before he was in the MCU. I even was one that was praying that Benedict Cumberbatch got the role as well, because I thought he'd be perfect for the part. So it lived up to my expectations. The Multiverse of Madness film is strange. I'm going to watch it again and see if I can spot things that I didn't see the first time that I know now there. But it's definitely not. It's not one of the better Marvel films. But I think it'll make more sense when the whole of this phase comes together more. So I wasn't particularly that excited for this set. It doesn't really fit in with my city, and it wasn't something that I would probably want to modify. So it was on a bit of a downer to start with, but because I'm such a Doctor Strange fan, I thought, yeah, I probably need to have a look at this. I need to have a look at this properly and make a decision. Might be persuaded. So yes, it is the Marvel set. It's $214.99. It's 2,708 pieces. Yes, it's a little bit pricey. It's about, I'd say, it's about £50 cheaper than the Bugle, but the Bugle came with 25 minifigures. And first off the bat with this, not the building, it's the amount of minifigures that I have totally been disappointed with. I think they could have done more. I think there's a lot of characters that were in the. It's like they've done half of the Infinity War scene and also included some of the minifigures, which let's go down here. Included the minifigures that were from the Multiverse of Madness. And they could have put more. They could have put more of them in. So they're all pretty good. You've got Ebony Moore, is it? I'm not going to be up on these. Wong, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Scarlet Witch, alternatives, Doctor Strange as well. What is there? The Doctor Strange and then the alternative Doctor Strange. Is there 9 in total of these figures? Do you know what? I don't actually know. That's probably the best figure that I like here. I think that's the good version of him from the Multiverse of Madness. I'm sure a lot of people like the zombie type Doctor Strange, so I can understand that being in there. I just think it's lacking a few more minifigures that they could have put in there from the Multiverse of Madness. Like I said, there's some characters that would have fit. Like they had the taxi driver, they had a couple of office workers in the Bugle that weren't really sort of main characters that they threw in there that just helped make that better. They could have done that with maybe the seller, the cart seller with the pizza balls or something would have been nice to have thrown in there, or one of the characters that are in the battling in the Kamatash place. There's quite a few in there they could have used that would have been handy to show in. And is it the Chavez, the girl with the stars that can travel? That would have been nice to throw in. So that's my first gripe out the way. Roof design, love it. Very similar to what I did with the Bugle, funnily enough, which I wasn't expecting. But they've got around that corner piece with a way that I never thought of doing, which is using them snot-built sand green slopes. Yeah, that's a really good idea. I struggled with those edges doing the Bugle, so that's really cool. I love the design, the build. It's very, very similar to ones that people have mocked as well. It's got a very similar element. I think it's probably difficult for a Lego designer to not be influenced by some work that is online or that people have done themselves, because they'll have copied the images of the building, and he's got to copy the images of buildings. And this is Justin that's done this, who I am a big fan of. Really like the work he's done on a lot of his sets. But yes, there's some really clever stuff. Obviously, it's modular, so you can put it in your modular buildings. There's plenty of floors. It's got what it can move these bits out there, the gargantuas and things like that, and swap them around, which I think is a really clever feature. It's got the central staircase, which was missing on the previous Sanctum, which I think is quite important, that scene to have. Yeah, it's a really, really nice design. It's a really nice set. some really good part count. Price is a little bit pricey, but that's what we'd expected with the rises, with the Disney license, Marvel license, if you want, on it on top. But yeah, looks pretty good. Yeah, my criticism in this is nice as well. I like this with the doors that they can change. My criticism is with the figures. Just I think they could have thrown, even with this price, they could have thrown in a couple of more characters, more figures, would have made it a bit of an easier purchase. And because of that, I think I will pass on it to start with. It might be one that comes to fruition later on, but it's not going to be on the top of my list. I am tightening my belt with everything that's going on, so I'm being a little even more selective than I normally have. So yeah, I think I'm going to pass on this one for now. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the Sanctum. So let's have a look at next. What should we have a look? Let's have a look at the Star Wars sets that came out. One of them being the Justifier. Right, I'm not going to get any of this right because I'm not very good at Clone Wars, Star Wars stuff. As I said, I'm not an expert, but I am a fan. So if I do get things wrong, I apologise. But first impressions of it are, it looks really good. It's different. It's a different type of ship. It comes with 4 minifigures and a little side robot that I can't remember the name of Cad Bane's little guy, but yeah, I think it looks really good. Obviously, it's got Omega in here, and that's going to be a bit of a draw. But I think, let me just come out of that one, going to full screen. I think that LEGO have cottoned on to the value of Star Wars sets being the minifigures, and are really pushing the boat of what they can do with terms of how many minifigures they include and how desirable it's going to make those sets. The ship itself doesn't look to have a lot of interior. Has a nice feature with the landing gear, but I think that takes up a lot of the room. But always nice to have. Yeah, there's a lot of mechanics in there. I think the plate under plate is a good idea. I quite like that. It's got one of those like interesting builds where I would probably like to look at the instructions rather than purchase it. And like I said, I think the minifigures are a bit of a draw here, as well as the getting the ship for the first time. But they've really pushed the minifigures in here. I think I've heard complaints about Cad Bane's hat being a bit too small. I think it looks quite good. I'm not gonna really go at Star Wars fans or anything like that, saying that they don't know what they're talking about, because they probably do, and he probably is a little bit too small. But I still think it's acceptable. I think the printing's good. I think it's right that they included Omega. I think it makes sense for this scene that was in the Bad Batch. Fennec Shan again is another way of getting her with the helmet on. Yeah, it just comes down to price. So it's for me. Where's the box? I'm going to apply my little test to it. 1,022 pieces, 4 minifigures that are probably going to be, and a little droid. What's his name? Turgo, yeah. I'm gonna, apply the 4 and the little one and the piece count and say to me that's a little bit pricey for me. A little bit pricey. I'm probably going to pass on this one. But as somebody who doesn't buy a lot of Star Wars sets, that won't be a surprise to you, even though I'm Star Wars mad. Yeah, it's just, I'm not Star Wars Lego mad, because I learnt very early on that it was a rabbit hole that I didn't really want to go down, and I've resisted. I've joined the resistance against it. So yeah, that's the Justifier. So the other one is much talked about. Let's just find it. The AT-TE, which is a prequel. I remember Captain Rex's AT-TE from the Rebels, which was really good. This one is, yeah, it's interesting. Again, 119.99. What we got for piece count, 1,082. Minifigures 5 plus 3 droids. It's not bad. It's not bad. Obviously, the draw in this one is the Phase 2 Commander Cody. Yeah, I quite like it. I think it's quite a nice set, actually. I quite like these. Having somebody who bought the UCS 8080, I quite like this. I quite like the design of it. I think they've done a decent enough job. Commander Cody is obviously going to be a draw. I know there's some complaints about his visor. I think it's pretty, yeah, I think it's a pretty good job of what they've done. Yeah, there's a fair bit of room in it. There's some play features. I quite like that. I'm a big fan of doing that kind of, and it's on the Ghost as well, I think, where you can pull them out with the door rails and those pieces. I quite like that as a builder. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with that one. It's quite a good set. I think if I was really into Clone Wars and the thingy, I would probably buy it, but as I'm not, I'm going to pass. Just I got your hopes up. I think I'll pass on that one. It's again, it's the Star Wars element that's calling it. UCS stuff very rarely buy. Falcon, Slave One, Sandcrawler, and the AT are the only UCS sets and the only ones currently that I plan to earn. And it was more about the builds in those than it was the actual sets. So yeah, that was the AT Walker. So next up, I think I'm going to look at the big one. I'm not going to talk about Avatar for completely different reasons. I probably said how big a fan I am of things, but in terms of Avatar, it's pretty much up there with one of my favourite films. And I always planned to do a Pandora mock, but never really wanted to pull it off unless I had some decent minifigures. Now, I'm not saying there are decent minifigures on this one, but I will leave those thoughts for the Avatar sets for another video, because I think that one could take me down a very long rabbit hole on this video. So instead, I'm going to go to my number one themed passion. That is castles. And the Lion Knight's castle. So again, we're back to the 90th year of play. We'll go to the box and we will full screen it. And we will have a look. And yes, 4,514 pieces. That's a big set. Lion Knight's castle system, like all that. 18 years and up. Do not like this. They go, well, stop doing this. So no. I don't think we need that adult welcome marketing. I think adults buy Lego sets regardless of whether they are welcome or not. I think that's been the case for a while. I think they're chasing a little bit of a market that doesn't exist, in my opinion. Certainly not sustainable in the current climate. But the 18 years and up says to me that that's not suitable for children to play with. If I'm a parent, which I am a parent, and I'm looking at things to determine whether I think a set is suitable for my children, that immediately tells me that maybe they can't build this set. And maybe I'm a parent that doesn't like building Lego on Christmas Day, which I know a few of them that do often ask me to build their sets for them on Christmas Day for their kids. And I don't want to have to build this so the kids can play with the castle. But actually looking at it, it's not an 18 years and up build. It's an 18 years and up, as in it's trying to advertise adults welcome and all that interesting stuff that I don't think works. I'm pretty sure my 8-year-old, who is quite a good builder, would be able to manage this no problem whatsoever. So easily 12-year-olds, I would have said. 12, 14, 12 would have been. It would have been nice to have a guide on here that actually showed people what age that Lego do recommend, like they did on the proper original sets, of what age they think is suitable for building this. And let's face it, it's a very large castle with a lot of play features that if I'd have got as a young child of 8 as a present for Christmas, and that had been presented to me, I would have probably not got into Star Wars as much, because I would have been sat playing with this thing. And I would have been enjoying many a tale and story of the castle and all the features and just enjoying it and building my own stuff and buying the add-on packs and all those minifigure packs we used to get and the siege weapons, and I'd have been like, yeah, fully immersed in castle. But the actual 6080, although a classic set, is not as good as this set. Mainly down to piece count and modern techniques and printing of figures, but hey ho. So first off the bat, yes, let's have a look at some stuff. Minifigure selection. Well, there's loads. There's printing on the Lion Knights that's new. There's bardings on the horses that I've heard people complain about. I'm not sure why, if the quality of the barding is not what they want or the design of it. We've got some. It's just so good that we've actually got some bardings again on horses. It's been a long time since we've had them. If you want to know a little bit more about castle stuff, then check out Fooling with Bricks, Barry, my good friend, who is a bit more of a knowledgeable person on classic castle. I won't say he's an expert because he doesn't like being called a castle expert, but he does have more knowledge than I have into the sets, years, and some of the details around it. I'm more of a builder and player, and I'm interested in castle in general and building my mocks. And I like fantasy, so I like making up my own stories as well. Even at my old age now, I still do that. So yeah, check out Barry's video on this because it's probably going to give you a little bit more in terms of history and nods and all the rest of it. What I will look at straight off the bat is some of the techniques they've used. So we'll have a look at this one. So we've got an interesting technique that I've seen criticized, which I kind of agree with, but I understand why. It's very, very narrow, that arrow slot. I can see that they've sort of built themselves into a 5 wide, which has only allowed one stud for this. And I can see that's where their issue has come from. But I still think, having mocked one up at home, you can probably just about get a plastic arrow through there. Not a bolt, but you could get an arrow. So it does work. And also I like the fact that they've gone almost, if you look there, they've gone 3 bricks, then the 5s, and then finished with a 3, which is a very big nod to those panel pieces they use for the castles. The ones with the arches already pre-built into them, the big molds, where it started with a 3 at the top and ended with a 3 at the bottom, and you used 1x2 grey to connect them all up, and it was a quick and easy way of building castle. So I do like that. First off, I've heard people say it's a huge grey wall. It's not very mocky, pretty like some of the castles we've seen, or in comparison with the blacksmith. I disagree. I think one of the things they possibly could have done was changed out a couple of these masonry bricks for dark bluish grey masonry bricks that's in the inventory, because that would have made it look a bit more like that printed cobble effect that they had on those panels. That would have been nice. It might be something I actually change on mine, but at the end of the day, it's a huge grey wall. It's a castle. I'm not expecting plate work, loads of snot techniques on the front of this to make it too. I quite like the clean classic cut of it. I like the use of this part here for the roof. I think that's really, really cleverly done. It's usually used as like a grey sort of claw type piece or a rock piece. They've used sort of like a half speed champions curved 1x2. I think it appeared in the speed champions first, which is why they call it that. To help texture that up as a thatched roof. I think they've nailed that. I would have thought of doing that. It's a very nice technique. It's reasonably simple as well, and sometimes I overcomplicate my models by trying to be too clever, and it doesn't have the impact that I was hoping for. The interesting part inside here with the use of these 1x1 rounded bricks that are like, we call them bread loaves. I think they might have started in dot sets or been in part one. Or certainly that new corner framed piece they've used up there that ties it all in. I'm sure that's a dots frame. Feel free to drop a comment if I'm talking absolutely rubbish, but I love these bread loaf pieces. I love this cornice piece there, and I love that design there. That's a really, really nice. I don't have a lot of these bread loaf pieces. I did put them onto my lug bulk list this year because I did want to use them more. They're on a lot of sets. They're on walls like the bookshop, and They've been used on various different sets recently to good effect. Yeah, I'm loving that part usage. Just that curving as opposed to the sharp-ended way of doing it, like on the 3-in-1 with the double cheese slurp, I think is much better. I'm probably going to use this for my castles. I just like the smoothness of it. I've just said before I like the stud showing, but I just, it has that, brings me back to when I was a kid. You had them nice stone walls. They had like a curved top to them that I'd often sort of like, and I probably shouldn't have done because I'd got to cut my fingers or anything, but I did quite like running my hand down it. Usually around churches, if I remember rightly. There's one in a town near me with a church. I remember it being there. But yeah, I just really like it. What am I not a fan of? What am I not a fan of? These green circular, these big pieces. I completely understand the design choices of why they've done it. It makes sense. They have, again, as we've said, got limitations of what they've got to build with, and I think that's a compromise that they've had to make. And it's not the end of the world. It's not my least favorite. I'm not just a huge big fan of the big pieces, but it still has an effect and looks nice. The ramp. I've heard a lot of people talking about the ramp. Yes, I'm not a fan. Do you know what I'm not a fan of is the slope pieces, and I'm gonna probably say the reason being is because when you walk a figure down them or trot a horse up them, then they're quite, there's that like catch where you could trip over, and they're quite steep. Obviously a cart, isn't going to roll very nicely up there, and I don't think it's actually going to fit 'cause it's like 4 wide. From this angle and the front of it, which was clearly like one of the mocks for mock-up versions used for the Back to the Future advert, it doesn't look as bad. But when you look at it closed up, and from this angle, you can see there that it's not as nice, and then the green things are sticking out. So they are things I understand why they've done them, and I don't think there's many alternatives that they could have done as designers within the limitations they've got. But yeah, when I get it, it's something I probably would change. We could always make it wider. It'd be easy to get those pieces so you can get a cart in. And I will be using this as a sort of keep inside my Bailey wall, so I wouldn't be expecting carts to go up it. Chatted with that with Barry from Fooling in the Bricks, and we were both on the same page with that. Yeah, it just doesn't look that pretty. The water wheel, again, people complaining they shouldn't have included a water wheel. I think it's very well executed, and it's got a nice feature and play feature. I don't mind it. I think there's a little bit of imagination that needs to be done around where that flow of water's coming from to drive that wheel. But yes, the beauty about Lego is you can alter things. You can change things. Whereas if you'd bought a Playmobil castle, for example, you're kind of limited in what you can do with it. Whereas Lego, the possibilities are endless. So you could quite easily, change this bit out. And have a flowing river, and then tie it all in. So yeah, I'm not too fussed with that. We'll come to the price in a bit because I know people will be going at we're going, you're paying for it. This balcony, again, I've seen this balcony. It's square here. When you look at it opened up, it becomes a little bridge. That is brilliant. The way it folds up into a different angle and not just a square box. That the water wheel here is like an open section, but when it's shut, it's clearly not. It's fantastic. And then they've crammed stuff in for a change. Obviously, castles historically, Lego castles didn't have a lot of interior stuff, and you'd had to do your own. But they've really gone to town with a little compromise of a nice little stable, nice touch. Yes, it probably needs a bigger stable, but having a place to put one horse is not that bad. I quite enjoy it. Dungeons, like the people can fall into the dungeons from the bridge. There's a little play feature there. There's a little turning handle here for the gate at the back. You've got room there for armor and knights. You've got another weaponry room up here, so you could move some stuff around. You could maybe move some things that you want. You could put that up there. I've heard complaints there's no throne room. Just build one. I can see why they haven't put one in. like I said, what's the issue with changing one of these rooms around and making it a throne room? I think it's definitely easily doable. They kept the little yellow Lego castle in there as a play set. Again, a nice little touch. Kitchens, like the milling of the grain with this grindstone from the water wheel. I love this table. I love that simple design. I wish I'd thought of doing something like that. To be fair, it's really, really nice. Looking out through those lovely ornate windows as well. You've got the Queen's bedroom. Apparently, there's some musical instruments in this. I know I've seen some trumpet, drums. I think there's a harpsichord in here as well, which I think is a really nice touch. Again, takes me back to that 18 plus, where this is clearly a kids play set. It's a combination of a display piece and a kids play set, but I would have no problems with my young kids playing with this and having like hours of fun, creating stories and using their imagination instead of being stuck in watching video games and stuff on YouTube. What people are doing now. Anyway, moving on. What else can we look at? The flags. I love the flags. I love the fact they've got some clothy type material flags back. Little treasure chest area under here. Yeah, really, really good. Really, 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 really good. Again, the back of the box. No alternative builds, but plenty of scenes. Oh, there's a loot as well, isn't there? From the for the forestmen, I've got a loot there. They're hidden away in a little part of it, which is a nice little feature that they can hide in sort of the castle rock. Really good. Let's go back to the minifigure one at the top, because I know there's better ones. I know, again, I'll say it again. Check out Barry's video, Fooling with Bricks. He goes through these a little bit better. I'm going to address a couple of other issues that I've seen. So first of all, Black Tree matches the Forest Hideout set. Do I wish they'd done it in brown? No, quite frankly. I quite like the black. I quite like the contrast. I quite like having a black forest there. I've said it. If it was brown, I think it'd be a bit boring, to be honest. I quite like the black. I quite like the pieces they've used. I think there's a nice contrast between some of the brown they've used and the black. I love these dark green spruce trees. I think that's the first time we've got them. That is really nice. That really sets it up. I like the dark green leaf down here, which again, these leaves are really, really useful for trees work. Fantastic to get them in dark green as well. And last but not least, I've heard some complaints about green stuff growing out of walls where it hasn't got anything to grow from, as in it's not from the ground. I don't want to shatter anybody's illusions, but many of the castles that are in Europe that have been stood for a long time do have greenery growing out of cracks and walls and moss and other things growing and honeysuckle and all sorts that haven't started from the ground. So that I don't see as a relevant criticism, in my humble opinion. It does add some colour to the walls and it is perfectly acceptable. So if you are thinking that is a bit of a strange one, you need to go and have a look at some castles. Come to England, I'll gladly show you around a few. So minifigures, because we can go on all day talking about this set and I don't want to. Queen, really pleased they've done a queen. I think that's a good choice. I don't think it has to be a king. We've got a queen ruling our country at the moment in the UK, has been for quite a long time after we've just celebrated the Platinum Jubilee. We've had medieval queens that have been on the throne for a period of time as well and in history. I don't see any issue with that. I don't think it's about anything other than trying to introduce Lego sets to be for both girls, boys, whatever your gender, whatever your designation. It's about inclusiveness. I don't think it's specifically to go out the way and say we're going to go the opposite way around and put loads of female characters. There are a lot of female knight soldiers in here. Don't like it. It's Lego, swap the heads out. Heads, blank faces, classic faces, cheapest chips to get hold of. Yes, it's extra money, but if it really bothers you that much, don't buy the set. That's the big thing. You get a skeleton. I love getting skeletons. I want a skeleton army, so the more I get, the more better, and they're not exactly expensive, but throw one in. It's useful. The guards, the print on these torsos is awesome. Love it. Love the print on the legs. No armor printing. Yeah, they do it on the collectible series, and they do it on the collectible series for a reason, to make them more prestige, more collectible, and they don't do it on their sets that are non-licensed themes. They do more printing and more detailed printing on Star Wars sets, but then Star Wars don't have a collectible theme, and people want a collectible theme, and they don't do it. Yes, Marvel have had a collectible theme, and they've done it on Marvel minifigures, but they tend to be slightly special compared to the ones that are in certain sets or generic ones. So yes, they could have done printed armor. They haven't. If you're really that bothered, go and get some printed armor. I don't think those collectible figures are that expensive. Black helmets on the Black Falcons is brilliant. The little nod, if it is a nod, it does look a bit like the one in the Monty Python. Yes, very good. I like the farmer with the sideburns. The Forestman, yes, they could have had blue or white or another colour. I think I'm quite happy with the red, because I think if they had have done different colours, that probably would have impacted somewhere else, because there's a trade-off when you're doing a designer. So they've made the choice to just all be red that match the forest hideout, and I'm perfectly happy with that. I think it's fine having them all red as their own Will Scarlets. Baker guy, cool. Yeah, there's the drum. This lovely scarf piece is a really good, nice addition. It'd be nice in some other colours as well down the line. I do like that we get the blue Robin Hood hat here as well that matches his cart. Magister, Merlin, Wizard, whatever you want to call him, has got no printing by the looks of it, but he has got the nice skirt. Am I bothered about the printing? No. Again, go buy the collectible Wizard if you really want one with printing. I think he looks perfectly fine. For play and for the set to be on display. You can tell he's a wizard. I don't think anybody's looking real close up and seeing that he's got a print on him. My first gripe is going to be the horses. And this is a very minor one. I would have liked to have had 4 horses like the original 6080. They haven't. They've gone with 2. Again, it'll be a design choice based on pieces, price point, what they would have to skimp on. They've given us 2 decent horses. They're 2 different colours. I never say no to horses. They've got bardings on. I'm really loving the design of the horses. And the thing is, yeah, they haven't given me 4, but they've given me a cow, and a cow's really useful to get. They don't come in many sets, and that's a nod to the medieval market village, which I like, that nod. So that's really, really cool. I don't know what else I've left to say. The one thing I do want to cover, because this video is getting long, and I'll be accused of being as long as Barry at this rate, is, and I'm going to shamelessly plug another of my favourite channels as well while I'm talking about this, is this shield issue and the sticker issue. So, do I think the stickers? Obviously, we've suffered that no one's actually got this set in hand because they've kept it under wraps, because therefore land members haven't got it to do reviews on. It hasn't really gone out anywhere, because they've really tried to keep it secret for the big reveal at LegoCon. So only really Premier Bricks had obviously got sight of this and did the picture, which is bang on accurate. Because of that, there'll be a lot of prototype shots. There'll be a lot of rendering used for these images. There'll be even rendering used on the lifestyle pictures. So it's really, really difficult to tell, even zooming in, whether they are printed or stickers. What I would say is that if you go and watch Family Bricks Matt video review of the Castle in the Forest, or the Brickboards carrying Ian, at both fantastic reviews of the Castle in the Forest, you can go and have a look at a shield that has a sticker on it. And I have got that set. I'm currently building it with Greg on London Bridge Bricks. Hopefully we'll be continuing that stream on Sunday coming. If you are watching this and you want to see a build of that and watch it back, if it's already happened, then check out London Bridge Bricks' channel, because it will be on there. We will be again joined by Fooling with Bricks to give us some comedy value and expertise. But yes, when you look at the stickers and the shield pieces they use, the stickers don't fill the shield as much as they do in these images, because they have to leave a bigger gap with stickers to allow you to position it properly. Otherwise, it becomes too difficult to put the stickers on. I've never seen them do it with really tight stickers, not even on Speed Champions. People might in the comments might be correcting me here, but definitely on the shields, the only reference we've got to go back to is the Castle in the Forest recently, which has stickers of the Forestman design, the stag, on the shield, and it has a wider surround between the edge of the grey plastic of the shield and the actual sticker. Go and check those videos out, give them a thumbs up. Check out their other content on the channels. Like I said, the brick bods, Matt's Family Bricks done some great reviews on the Castle in the Forest when it first landed, and you will see what I mean about the shield. So until it gets it in hand, I can't say for certain that they're stickers. So I know there's going to be a lot of comments with people saying, yes, they're stickers. We don't know until it comes out. We cannot go off these photographs. We cannot zoom in. We cannot look at them. They don't give us there looks like there to be a lip on the shield that the Queen is holding. There is no lip on that part. It would have to be a completely new shield part to have that lip. I can't see them doing that for this set when they've got a perfectly good shield part. Yeah, I don't think it's printed. I think the criticism around this set is completely unjustified, and I'll go back to 4,514 pieces. It's a lot of pieces. It's a lot of castle. It's a lot of minifigures. $344.99, $400, I believe. I'm sure it's really way more expensive in places like Australia and New Zealand, where I've got friends who seem to pay over the odds for Lego, and don't grumble as much as other people in Europe and America who pay less than them. And $344.99, $400 for 4,514, 4,514 pieces. That is a good deal. It could have been a lot more. Could they have done it less? I'm not sure they could. I'm not going to harp on about profits and everything else that Lego makes, but I think if you compare this with other sets, the Loop Coaster that's got some big molded parts in, other sets around this kind of price ratio that are licensed, you will probably find that they don't stack up. This, to me, is a good value set. And a lot of people that are complaining about the price, I'm really interested in the fact that they keep saying they're going to buy two of them. Well, if it's that expensive, how can you afford to buy two? Please, people, be responsible with your money. Don't let FOMO come in. If you're not interested in castles, don't jump on the horse and cart wagon and just get a castle because everybody else is getting a castle. Get a castle because you want to spend $344.99 on this castle because you like it and you like everything about it. If there are bits that you don't like and you still want to buy it, then change them. There's nothing wrong with that. I just don't think it's warranted, the complaint, and I am a big one for passing on sets, and I am not passing on this set. This is an amazing set. It is beautifully executed. I cannot highly praise this as a classic castle set. If you're a mock builder like me and you look at other people's castles that are, huge, tremendous work of art, there's been some fantastic ones at Brickwell Chicago. There's loads of videos that people have done about that. Check them out. They are on another level. Lego designs can't work at that scale. They've got to put out a product that is buildable and marketable and within a certain price parameter. And if they were told to do it for $400, this is where they've come to. They're not sat there going, oh, we'll add this bit in and it's going to bump the price up. They're given a set point and a design, and they'll have gone over the budget and had to cut things back, taken out a horse maybe, less design on the graphic designs on some of the things. They've had to put in some bigger pieces instead of some smaller pieces. Putting some bigger pieces usually can put the price up, but can be necessary for stability. So there's all that to factor into it. They could have taken out the water wheel. They could have taken out the tree, the rock thing, but then they wouldn't have been able to really go to town on trying to combine a bit of a love affair of castle. So yes, that is my thoughts on it. We've gone on for 50 minutes. I know I've reviewed quite a few sets kind of from the images, but yeah, I'm definitely not passing on the castle, not passing on the explorer, passing on the sanctum for now. It's on yeah, I'm definitely passing on the Star Wars sets, but not because they're just bad sets and overpriced, just because yeah, Star Wars sort of minifigure scale Star Wars stuff at that level, I don't really buy. But LegoCon was good. It was much better than the year before. I wouldn't say it's brilliant, but it was much better than the year before. But then it couldn't have been worse. So if you're new to my channel, you want to see me do more videos like this, which I don't think anybody really does, but I did want to say my piece, then give us a like, add any comments that you disagree, because I'm sure there's people disagree with my opinion below. I'm fine. I'm happy to take constructive criticism. You can put whether you do agree with me, whether you do like it below. And if you, yeah, like I say, subscribe, like, do all the other things you do, and let me know if you want me to do more videos on whether I'm passing on something or not passing on it, rather than just the Project Mock stuff that I do. And yeah, thanks for watching right till the end, and cheers.